All right, so today we have emerging actor and activist Brandon Delsid. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Great, thank you. So, Brandon, you can soon be seen in Amazon Prime's This Is Me Now, a musical film along Jennifer Lopez. Can you tell us who you play?
Yes. So I actually play her gay best friend in the film,
Okay.
which was a pinch me moment for sure. My character is called the Lover, and not to give too much away, so hopefully everybody, will tune in on Amazon Prime. I play sort of like a muse of hers throughout the film, and there's a couple of us that are sort of trying to help guide her through her love journey, and sort of jump in here and there.
Awesome, fantastic. So, how did you get this role, and how exciting was it to be involved with this project and work with J-Lo?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was like I've said it in a couple of interviews so far, but it was like a manifestation from my like little 9-year-old gay boy self. Like I feel like maybe somewhere in Spanish class when I was watching Selena, I like dreamt of this happening. I don't know. It must have been a fever dream or something. But yeah, I mean, I've been an actor for about 20 years. And so this really was, a dream come true.
Yeah.
It's a new frontier, obviously, with everything being self-taped. So that's how I initially got the audition.
Okay.
And my great team over at Creative Media Partners sort of have been steering my career, really into, embracing all of the amazing queer roles that are out there now in
Yeah.
2024. And
Definitely.
it's amazing. It's not lost on me, like all the pioneers and the actors and activists that came before me that opened doors for me to be able to play J-Lo's gay best friend in a film. It's definitely something I'm still pinching myself over.
Yeah, for sure. Was there a scene that was your absolute favorite to shoot with her?
Yeah, it's actually a scene. Well, there's a couple really fabulous moments throughout the film that stick out, but you can see part of a scene in the trailer
Okay.
that's come out now where we're kind of having an intervention with her, not to give too much away.
Mhm.
And we're in like her living room. And, it just felt like playtime. It's so funny. It's like, I really think of being an actor now as like being a kid in a sandbox again and just playing pretend with your friends.
Yeah.
And it was neat to see that she came with that same mentality. We would do the scene as scripted, and then she'd be like, okay, let's just banter or go back and forth for a second and see
Okay.
what we get. And
Okay.
some of that stuff made it in the film, which was really cool.
Nice. So you didn't really have any particular approach you wanted to go with your character?
For me, I grew up not seeing a ton of queer representation on screen.
Hmm.
I, obviously there were characters out there. There was Glee, there was Will and Grace, there were these great, people to look up to. But for me too, seeing, actors and performers who were gender fluid or who kind of embraced gender fluidity in roles wasn't something I was familiar with. So my approach to this role was really celebrating that. And I think you can see it in the fashion and the makeup. And yeah, I mean, I wanted it to be a moment of visibility for sure,
Yeah.
for the LGBTQIA plus community. And I really feel after seeing the film, so happy that I do think it's that. I think that's how we move the needle is visibility in films and media. And that's my goal as a performer and as an activist is to choose roles that further those initiatives.
Mhm. Awesome, fantastic. And so I've heard that JLo can be really awesome, really nice, really caring, but I've also heard that she could be kind of a diva in some ways. Was there any of that on set?
you know, it's so funny because I've been asked this before. I had the most incredible experience with her. I mean, I felt like it sounds cheesy, but it felt like she was like a fairy godmother this last year for us, especially for those of us that she gave this opportunity to.
For sure.
She kind of handpicked us, and we learned that pretty early on.
Mhm.
And so it was insane to get to be in that proximity with her. And she really did bring us into her family. I mean, she invited us throughout the year to different events to kind of celebrate the rev up for this and, personal events of hers too. And so it was kind of neat to see her on that level of just a person
Yeah.
and how kind she really was, and welcoming and genuine. But she's just otherworldly. I
Hmm.
think any of that persona stuff that comes out about her is because she is that fabulous. She
Yeah.
really does come in looking that great all hours of the day. It's like it must be a full-time job because this, this takes hours to pull together.
That's awesome. Love it. So, what do you ultimately hope audiences take away from this film?
Mm. Well, there's so many things, but I definitely think, it's truly a story about love
Hmm.
and friendship. Um, and I think about not giving up hope. I'm really one of those people that I believe the best is yet to come.
Hmm.
And I think that's a mindset you have to tell yourself every single day. The best is yet to come. And I think this film really captures that. It was written by Jennifer, Ben Affleck, and Chris Schaefer. And so it's really kind of a mix of these different points of view on love and on rebirth.
Hmm.
And but it's a musical movie, and it's just in the most fabulous way a true musical, and I think it's going to redefine the modern musical as
Yeah.
we know it.
Hmm.
But I hope people take that the best is yet to come if you choose to look at life that way.
Okay, perfect. Fantastic. Now, Brandon, you are no stranger to the spotlight and have been known for your appearances on NBC's New Amsterdam and Amazon Prime's The Date Whisperer. Have you always had a passion and desire to pursue acting?
Yeah, it all started 9 years old, tiny little Brandon with his grandma in the audience of Oliver the Musical.
Okay, okay.
I've told this story so many times. It's always Oliver the Musical, isn't it? I don't know why, but it's always a production of Oliver the Musical.
It's just how it is.
Um, it just happens that way. But I just was so hooked. I don't know. There was something about, being able to become someone else and being able to the roar and the hush of the audience and just being up there and feeling that energy. And it started with musical theater, and it's been really neat that this film sort of being one of my biggest breaks, I would say, is in the realm of musical theater. So
Yeah,
it's kind of neat, that full circle moment
yeah,
that I feel like I'm getting to have with it. But I always knew I wanted to do this. There was no plan B, C, D, E, F, or G or anything. It was like, this is the dream,
yeah,
and it's just been a wild ride. This last year has been kind of, like I said, the manifestation of that dream coming true.
yeah.
And, I tell everybody, it's like, whatever you want, you just go at it. And the longer you stay in the game, the luckier you get.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And you were recently in the off-Broadway premiere production of the Big Bang Theory musicals, starring as Raj. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. I mean, musical theater and stuff keeps pulling me back in some way. It would be a dream to hopefully I've been working on some projects coming up in New York, hopefully in the next year or so. But that was an incredible experience. The Big Bang Theory, the musical. I mean, I would pinch myself every day getting off the subway stop at 50th and
Hmm.
think, oh my gosh, I get to go to work in Times Square. Like, my childhood self would have been pinching themselves. I'll never forget when my parents actually got divorced. My mom got a condo and she wanted to make the bedroom special for me. So one of the walls, she had a friend who was an artist, paid a mural. And I
Okay.
had no idea what the mural was going to be. But the mural was me getting off of a subway stop in Times Square, just like looking up at all the lights, kind of in awe.
Mhm.
And I feel like that was another thing that kind of came true. It's creatively visualizing where you're going to be. And so that show was everything. I met some of my best friends, and it's funny. It's whether you're in a movie or you're in a play, it kind of all goes back to like childhood, and it feels like you're like all celebrating together at the end of a play at the end of the day. And so the community is really what I took from the Big Bang Theory, the musical. I think the friends that I made, lifelong friends.
Awesome, fantastic. Now, playing a queer characters and seeing queer characters on TV and film, do you believe we're getting better when it comes to representation and that genuine respect and thoughtful writing? Do you feel like we're getting better with it?
I think we have a long way to go still, to be honest. I think, like I said earlier, visibility is everything. I
Mhm.
mean, to think when I was a little kid, how much it meant to me to see characters that were gay or that were queer. I'll never forget the first one that really like hit home for me was Ugly Betty.
Okay.
And it was her brother,
Yeah.
her younger brother, and how much that meant to me to see someone that looked like me. And people would compare me to him even as a little kid. And I would think, oh my gosh, like, wow, like that could be me someday. And now it is. And it's kind of neat to see like that affects people. It
Hmm.
affects the culture. It changes things, you know, in little ways. And so I'm so grateful to Jennifer Lopez for creating a space for me, you know, and for welcoming. She's such an LGBTQIA plus ally.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that people really have to give her more credit for. She always has been, but she is a huge, huge ally to the community, probably one of the biggest we have.
I
Um,
mhm.
and she's, you know, she's out there doing her thing. And so I appreciate that there's roles like this, but we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
um and I love stories where, you know, there's queer characters just existing in the world,
Yeah.
you know, and just kind of adding to the story. Obviously we want to talk about, you know, the traumas and the things of our community as well, because that's vitally important to not forget. But of course, celebrating characters living and flourishing
Yeah.
and living their best lives. And I'd like to think my character in it gets to live their best life.
Mhm. Awesome. Perfect. Well, Brandon, what are some other future goals you hope to accomplish with your acting career?
Ah, well, the sky's the limit. I don't know where to go
Oh.
next. I mean, I'm just trying to get through the premiere we have coming up, because it's going to be a whole fashion moment in itself. I'm trying to rev up for. But I have a film coming out later this year that was written and directed by Luc Besson, who did Taken 1, 2, and 3. So
Mhm.
that should be fabulous. Very excited about that. And a campaign I did with CeraVe, the skincare brand, that will be magical, coming out also in the mid time of this year. As far as goals, I mean, I always want to challenge myself, you know, in new ways. And so I'm hoping for a lot more roles that do continue to further queer visibility, and characters that do celebrate gender fluidity
Mhm.
and all that it means to be queer, which is a superpower, you
Yeah.
know, and I want to continue to build that superpower and empower other people through that. And, you know, I just feel so blessed with this film. And I really think people are going to
Mhm.
freak out over it.
For sure. Now remind us, when does it premiere?
The film This Is Me Now premieres February 16th on Amazon Prime.
Okay, perfect. And how can one personally stay up to date with you?
Yes, please follow me on Instagram at Brandon Delsid. Uh, that is typically the best way. I also have my website, but I like to kind of, you know,
Hmm.
showcase fashions and things that are up and coming with me. But yeah, Instagram's always the best way.
All right, perfect. Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you would like to mention or plug at this time?
No, I'm just so grateful to you guys, and for also furthering queer visibility
Yeah.
and putting us at the forefront. You know, it's so important. And so, I mean, thank you to Instinct Magazine for the work you guys do and for getting our voices out there, you know, and realizing, you know, we're superheroes.
Yeah, we are. We are. We have power in the community, and we will always have that power with us.
Yeah, always.
Perfect.